If you're new to investing and want to improve your knowledge, we're hopefully in the right place. As someone who works in finance, the world can be confusing, shall we say, but hopefully you can take some right steps to improve your knowledge, reach your goals and futures. Just like me, so I became a net millionaire in my early 50s. Now, what's the aim of this video? It's to give people hope, shall we say, if I can build a portfolio too, you can too, by taking some steps, thinking long term and investing in a tax-free way. So this video is about my self-invested personal pension plan. I do have a pension shout when we work, but I'm restricted contributions and the fund to invest, so I pick my own funds. Now the aim is an annual growth of 10%. We're looking for dividends, shall we say, for the year of £6,000 and a year-end value of £164,000. So how have we done in the month? Well, we started at 189,700 and we finished at 191,193. So in the month, a profit of £1,493. Year to date, we're up 38.12%, so well above our expectations. We'll have good months, we'll have bad months, but we're certainly not going to complain at those returns for this year. If you look at the following graphic, contributions £500 a month, we've got tax relief on top from the government of basic rate taxpayer of £125. So year to date, tax year, just over £4,500. Our platform providers charges fees of £20.93 in the month as a percentage of our portfolio based upon their shares and funds values. And where are we held within the portfolio? Well, predominantly UK and Europe, 76%. USA and Americas, 21%, and Asia and emerging markets, 2.31%. Now we are, shall we say, topping up America, but on a slightly, shall we say, regular basis. And during the month we received some dividends. Not a great month, but £14.51. AG Bar gave us a small dividend, so did GD Sports. Now we didn't reinvest because it's not worth it, but across our funds we've got a yield of 4.25%. Year to date, £5,786. We expected £6,400, so about £600 below expectations. But we'll have good months, bad months, and we'll finish up in December with some nice quarterly dividends, so we will get back on some kind of track. So let's look at what we actually hold in the portfolio. Well, we've simplified our funds. We've got two funds. We've got a Fidelity World Index Fund, just over £30,000, nearly 60% of our portfolio, owns around about 1,400 stocks, fees of 0.12%, and it does give us a small yield, but averaging about 10% over the past few years. Just switch off, it does what it says it's in, but it's done for diversification. Our second fund is somewhat selective, Legal and General Technology Fund, £21,500, just over 11% of our portfolio, around about 250 stocks, mainly US based obviously, but slightly higher fees of 0.32%. Has struggled this year, but over the past few years, the tech funds done remarkably well, but we've done it again away from UK funds, diversification. So two simple funds, very low fees, and it's meeting our expectations. 10% year on year for the past few years. We just switch off. Let's look at the shares within our portfolio. At the moment we own 15 shares, 30 in profit, 2 in loss. Makes up 70% of our portfolio, nearly £140,000, of which 64% is FTSE 100, 8% is the FTSE 250. Now a quick overview of the holdings. Predominantly, shall we say, financial shares, what we know about, but all big names, we're going to keep them for indefinitely. No way to sell any shares in the foreseeable future. So we own Lloyds Banking Group, £38,500 shares, £37 in value, and nearly 20% of the portfolio. Very cash rich, shall we say, good results. Was some, shall we say, let off by the budget by so-called windfall tax, but a nice yield of around about 4 or 5%. We own Aviva, the insurance company, 5,276 shares, £34,000, 18%, got a yield around about 6 or 7%. We own HSBC, 1,314 shares, £14,000, 7% of the portfolio. Does pay nice quarterly dividends. It was probably the worst of the results recently, probably because it was in Asia, but it is on a restructuring program, but it has had a good run year to date. Another good share is Barclays, 3,307 shares, £14,000, 7.4% portfolio. Again, very cash rich, very profitable, and a yield around about 4%. Now, away from the bank, so we said we own LNG. Legal & General, 2,450 shares, a yield around about 9%, £6,000, but 3% of our portfolio. And just like Aviva, everyone in insurance, it's very cash generative. Away from that bank, we own some of the high streets. We own Greggs the Baker, has struggled recently, 302 shares, nearly £5,000, 2.46%. Has struggled, shall we say, from expansions, makes nearly £1 billion profit, but affected by wage increases, cost increases. But it is expanded away from the high street. We own Sainsbury's, the retailer, 1,351 shares, £4,500, 2% portfolio. Is in a price match war with the supermarkets, but it results were very good recently, and it did pay nice dividends. Is, shall we say, cash generative, but it is struggling, shall we say, in the background with the likes of Argos. Away from the high street, we own Shell and BP, 150 shares in Shell, £4,000, 2% portfolio, and BP, 542 shares, £2,500, 1.2%. They are, shall we say, going more to renewals in the future, but they do pay nice quarterly dividends, and they will pay some nice dividends again in December. We own JD Sports, 2,500 shares, just under £2,000, 1% portfolio. It was making £1 billion profit, has been hit in this month because of expectations. Profit's not as good as forecast, but it's still 900,000 £1 million plus. Okay, nice profit, but it is expanding, shall we say, in USA and across Europe. Other shares we own, shall we say, is ADM. We own Card Tractor, shall we say, and Penn the Water Company. All small amounts, but all what we see, apart from Penn, is growth companies. But it just goes to show you're not going to get every share right. But the banks have had a great run this year. That's why we're up nearly 40%. Okay. May not be the same next year, but it was done for a reason. It's companies we know about. They've been here for many years, they'll be in many in the future. We just switch off, and all the money we receive is reinvested to give us better dividends year on year. Remember, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You can build a sizable portfolio if you invest on a regular basis, you think long term, and you invest within a tax-free pension wrapper. If you like the videos, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again in the next video.